Patterson.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is William Patterson. I'm Chairman and CEO of the Walker Capital Group, LLC. I'm also founder of the Barron Solution Group, which is an education-based training firm that teaches business and personal finance skills to adults and children across the U.S. and abroad. I'm also the business and financial expert on CBS Talk Radio 1580 and XM Satellite Radio. This is an important panel today because, as Charles Dickens would say, this is a tale of two cities, where both people are struggling financially, but it's also the greatest time to build wealth. And this is really the best time in 50 years to buy real estate, to buy certain types of assets. No matter if you're in the stock market, real estate, or the business economy, there are opportunities. And that's one of the reasons why I wrote the book, The Barron Son. The Barron Son is not about how do you earn a few more dollars a month or how do you become a millionaire. The Barron Son is about how do you tap into your great idea, how do you tap into your passion, how do you get other people to support you and create a legacy for future generations, how do you dominate as an industry baron or baroness. When we first wrote The Barron Son, my two co-authors, Vicki Therese Davis and DeMarcus Patton, we said, who are we going to go to validate this book? And the first person that we went to was Bob Johnson. We wanted to go to the first black billionaire to endorse this book. And a lot of people said, you're not going to get this guy to stop running a billion-dollar company to read this book, but he did, because he understood that this was an ethical roadmap for people. It was designed not just for the individual who wanted to understand how they could change the condition of their life when they had absolutely nothing. It was designed for leaders to understand how they could responsibly wield power and influence. So that's what The Barron Son was about. How do you tap into your passion so that you could dominate as a baron or a baroness? Now, this book has been featured in Black Enterprise. It's also been translated around the world. You'll see the Korean version here, the Polish version here. We have Portuguese, Russian, all these other places. As we traveled around the world, we saw that it was important for us to make sure that the people who needed these strategies most, not the people on Wall Street, not the people in the boardrooms, but the people in the community, the people in the inner city, those were the people who needed this knowledge. And one of the things that we did in studying these tens of thousands of people across the U.S. and abroad, we found that there were 7 major reasons that people struggle financially. And those reasons had absolutely nothing to do with money. The number one reason that people struggle financially is the fact that they do not have a mentor, a coach, or an advisor. A mentor or a coach or an advisor is going to be able to show you the way. They're going to be able to help you avoid a lot of the hurdles and pitfalls that you're going to find out there. The number 2 reason is your belief system. Most people have total lack of self-confidence when it comes to being able to build wealth. They do not truly believe in their ability to change the condition of their life starting from where they are. This is also something that a mentor and advisor can help you with. One of my early mentors was a gentleman by the name of Chris Williams, who runs the largest black investment bank on Wall Street. When I was working for an investment banking firm on Wall Street, he convinced me that I could go out and do my own thing even at a young age. It was having those types of mentors and advisors that helped me accelerate my path to success. The third reason is networking. Realize that your network is a direct reflection of your net worth. And one of the fastest ways for you to increase your net worth is for you to change the people that you spend the majority of your time with. Now, the fourth reason, most people are using the wrong vehicle for building wealth. They're trying to build wealth through a job. And I always say that a job is a $50,000 solution to $1 million problem. And if you have $1 million problem, you of course have to use $1 million solution. So you want to focus on the 3 major wealth building vehicles: stock market, real estate, and entrepreneurship. The 5th and 6th reason are knowledge and tools. People do not invest in the knowledge and the tools that can accelerate their path to success. When it comes to these knowledge and tools, I use the example of 2 people in New York trying to get to California. And one turns to the other and says, how much is a plane ticket? Well, it's $600. He said, there's no way, that's too expensive. I think I'd rather walk. Well, that's what most people are doing every day who do not invest in the knowledge and the tools that can get them to their destination faster. And the 7th reason is that people do not invest in or do not engage in the most important activity every day that will change the condition of their life. They want to do the small things. They want to do the things that will just say, hey, I checked something off of my to-do list. But they won't call on the $1 million CEO, the $1 billion CEO. And I'll tell you, it's okay if you want to go after the smaller clients, but you have to do it at a scale that can get you to $1 million. So if you want to go after the $5 and the $50 clients, that's okay, but you have to think about scale. And that's also something that a mentor and advisor can help you with, is identifying what is the most important thing that I need to be doing every day that will change the condition of my life.
Thank you. We're going to move along to Derek Pope.
Thank you, Chris. Good afternoon, everybody. First, I want to thank God for this opportunity and Lee McDonald and the Renaissance Group, because this is a magnificent panel and a magnificent opportunity. We've all come to the Congressional Black Caucus weekend for different means and for different purposes. Some of us got here by plane, by train, by automobile. Some came for networking. Some came to look for jobs. Some of us came to participate in a panel. But one thing we all have in common is that we have an appointment that each of us are going to have to keep. If you look in your BlackBerry, your PDA, or your personal agenda planner, you're not going to see it there. But we all have an appointment that we don't like to talk about. But whenever the conversation of generating and preserving wealth is discussed, this topic is an indispensable element. The topic is our own passing from this life into eternity. Nope, not the conversation you're going to hear at the backyard barbecue. Certainly not the conversation that you're going to have tailgating over at Howard University. But, as the book of Proverbs teaches, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Now, never mind that King Solomon was a bit gender insensitive in his comments, there is still wisdom in what he wrote. All of our efforts and energies that we expend in obtaining and acquiring assets, all of the labor and strivings that we undertake to get, to have, to possess, and to build, mean absolutely nothing if we don't see the wisdom in making certain that these assets get into the hands of the generations coming behind us. If we think that our sole purpose for being here is to extract every little bit that we can out of life and leave the next person to fend for themselves, then we have missed out on a nugget of wisdom of the gift of life. Estate planning is nothing more than the formal legal means to tap into that wisdom, to take the properties that we have developed and make our life mean something to the people who are coming behind. Now, estate planning isn't something that's considered a high priority among the African American community, and that is understandable because it's the first time really we've had anything to leave beyond hopes, dreams, and cautionary instructions for survival. But that's changed, as we can see, in the last 40 years. We control more than $100 million in equity in the black-owned businesses, and the average black household has nearly $250,000 in transferable assets. But we still are insufficiently oriented and educated about the benefits, the purpose, and the significance of estate planning. I saw it almost every day in my law practice. When a person passes, troubling family situations could have been averted if someone had just taken the time to do a little advanced planning. I saw it every day in my law practice how people had to use property to pay off debts, how unnecessary and prolonged legal disputes could squander assets, and how the wrongly selected individual would make that situation that much more difficult to deal with. And that's the reason that I wrote the book, Thy Will Be Done, an African American Guide to Estate Planning. Thy Will Be Done, not an original title. I know you've heard it somewhere else, but I couldn't think of another title that would sum it up any better. Now, I'll be more than happy to answer all the questions you have as to how does estate planning benefit you as an emerging leader. But before we get to the question and answer period, I want to tell you quickly, the people on the cover, these are my maternal great-grandparents, my grandmother's mother and father. Great-granddaddy gave grandmama a key, a grandfather's clock. Grandmama gave it to me. And every time I touch that key, it sends shivers down my spine to know that my great-grandfather touched that same key. I'm going to give that key to my daughter, but I'm also going to give her a little bit something else. I'm going to give her the copyrights to this and every other book I ever write, so that she's going to know not only what time it is, but how to survive in any kind of economic time. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. I feel like standing up. I'm excited. Y'all excited? Y'all excited?